Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK EU podcast and YouTube channel. And yes, it's that time again. It's astrology time with Al. How are you, Alex? How are you doing?
I am wonderful. Merry Yuletide, everyone. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. This is a beautiful time of year. It's also Sagittarius season, so I know that there's a bunch of Sagittarians out there jumping and whooping when I say that too.
I love it. I love it. And it is that amazing time of year when it's all like lovely and Christmassy, but also we've got the new year to think about and what is it going to bring? And the year of the Phoenix, what does that mean? And what could possibly be happening in 2026?
Oh my gosh. Well, before we even get to that, I'm reading everyone's mind right now because they're thinking about how I'm not even through Christmas yet. So can we please not even talk about 2026? But I mean, it is around the corner. It really is around the corner. And one of the things that I always appreciate that Sovereign Miss Dave talks about is how preparation is worthiness. And yes, we are approaching the close of the year and the holidays are around the corner, but we do want to prepare for what is coming ahead. And 2026 is a massive year. So in 2025 we had some planetary aspects happening, but 2025 was more a year of a closing, I guess I could say. And 2026 is I called it the year of the Phoenix, but I could also call it the year of the jetpack or the rocket pack, because it is a year to go and people want to go. They want to move forward. They want to initiate good things in their life and make things happen. They're embracing that warrior energy. And so we have both Saturn and Neptune that are moving into Aries, which is essentially they're both beginning a new cycle. And so that energy of I need to move forward, I need to make things happen in my life. And I think a lot of people are going to feel a bit of a pressure to make things happen. And
Like pressure. So that for me sounds good, but some people might not like the sound of that.
Well, pressure isn't everybody's friend. Some people have a good relationship with pressure, and others not so much. And it's kind of interesting that it's Saturn and Neptune, because Saturn is this very grounded, tangible, practical planet who does point out our failings, so to speak, but also points them out in constructive ways so that we can build in our lives. He is the planet of foundations as well. But then we have Neptune, and Neptune is this very spiritual planet which very much governs over our social ideals when we look at it on the collective. And Neptune is about as impractical as far as the planets go. So I find it interesting that they're both beginning this journey into Aries. And so Neptune enters on January 26th, and Saturn enters just over 2 weeks later on February 13th. So like the day before Valentine's Day. So it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of people who want to create in their lives, who want to take that leap forward, who really want to have personal empowerment. And we have this very grounded, tangible energy of arising like the phoenix and having that strength and capability. But then also there's the ideals and illusions of what personal empowerment looks like that also come with it too.
Very interesting.
And coming back to this legend of the Phoenix, part of the reason that I chose this theme is because of the magic of fire that we are stepping into in 2026. And fire is a really interesting element. It is incredibly powerful, when channeled in the right way, but it can also be incredibly destructive when it is misused or not controlled properly. And so with Saturn and Neptune entering into Aries, and later on in the year, Jupiter will be entering into Leo as well. There's going to be a lot of fire energy, which is supported by the air that Uranus and Pluto will be bringing from Gemini and Aquarius there. And so it's really inherent on us to master the power of fire and to be willing to undergo that alchemy. So in the legend of the Phoenix, it's kind of interesting because there's differing sources on where the legend actually originates from. And so the best guess is that it's actually Greek in origin, although there are some claims that it is Egyptian. But the Egyptian sources also point back to the Greeks. So they just keep pointing back at each other. So we're not sure. But the phoenix was this legendary bird. Of course, it arose from the ashes and flame of its deceased predecessor. But what it would do is every 500 years, a new phoenix would be born and would emerge. And so it would arise out of the ashes and the remains of the previous phoenix who passed. And it would also take, what remained of the previous phoenix, and it would actually wrap it in a ball of myrrh. And it would take it to the temple of the sun to be honored and to be worshipped as sacrifice for its new life. And so we have a chance in 2026 to arise from the ashes. We are being reborn in a sense. And for those of you who feel that call to wake up and to really start making forward movement in your life, some of you may literally be looking on ashes of your life, things that maybe didn't work out, things that failed, relationships, jobs, aspects of your health. And you have the opportunity to take 2026 to master your personal fire so that you can start to make forward progress. And so, there's a lot of people who are going to need a life activation this year. There's a lot of people who are going to need initiation because fire is spiritual. And when we control that fire, kind of like an engine, like an internal combustion engine, it can take us places. But when it rages out of control, when your aspiration rages out of control, it's kind of like a forest fire instead, and everything just burns. And so one of the things that I want everyone to know for 2026 is that there's going to be a lot of inspiration. There's going to be a lot of motivation, but people are going to need the right tools and the right, I guess you could say, constraints, the right practices, the right disciplines, so that their fire lasts and doesn't burn them in the process.
Very, very cool. Very cool. I mean, I already am excited for 2026. All this sounds completely up my street, to be honest. I'm like, okay. And it's funny because I know we joke about just getting this year done and then think, but I was so excited about 2023. I'm like, it just has that feeling about it, doesn't it? We can get some stuff done here.
Yeah, that's the fire of it, but it's not just the fire of it. I mean, I was looking through all the aspects that we have, and in July there's this, I kind of likened it to like a ballroom dance. It's like a waltz of the planets, because Jupiter makes a whole bunch of positive aspects, and so does Uranus to the other outer planets in July, creating this beautiful symphony, this beautiful waltz where things like deeper lasting peace, maybe deeper economic shifts are possible so that people aren't stuck in survivability anymore.
Very important. Very important. Aleks, you mentioned some of the months and looking ahead. Now, I don't know, some people tuning in to this might not know, but every year you do a forecast, and it is an astrology forecast. But I feel like some people might get confused about what that actually is, because when you do it, it is a very in-depth look and very empowering, and it takes you through this journey. I don't know how else to explain it, so I'm going to ask you to explain it, rather than, I know some people might read their horoscopes or something for the forecast ahead, and that's not what it is. So I just wanted to kind of let people know that this is available, because for me, I have found it very valuable as an initiate to understand what's happening and how I can use my tools and and get the best out of daily life, with this information. Could you just explain it? Are you going to explain it in a much better way than I just did?
Well, thank you. Yes, absolutely. So every year, as you mentioned, Ipsis Kate, I do an astrology forecast. And so basically, I use what's called mundane astrology, which looks at aspects that affect the world. And I liken it to checking into the heartbeat of human consciousness. And the reason I love doing it is because, I started doing this just for myself because I wanted to understand what's relevant to the people that I'm trying to serve. So if they're worried about survivability and I'm talking to them about apples and oranges, then I can't serve them, because I need to connect into the heart of what it is that they are looking for and what they need. And so I started working with mundane astrology so that I could understand what's happening in that human consciousness so that I can reach other humans. Because, especially for myself and for other initiates, sometimes we kind of lose relatability. There's things that we don't worry about anymore, because we have tools, we have magic, and we also have that ability to recognize when we are being influenced by outside forces, outside factors, outside conditions. And so I started doing this this astrology forecast so that I can understand what's happening with the people around me. Where do they need my help? How do they need my help? What are the tools that I have that can help them figure out the problems that they've been encountering? And whether that is health problems, whether that is, economic problems, all of it ultimately comes back to spirit. And so what are the spiritual tools that I have at my disposal to help alleviate some of the suffering, the worry, and the concerns that stop people from sleeping at night, that plague their minds and have them overthinking and living in near constant states of anxiety? And so when we do this astrological forecast, you get that insight into the heart of the world. And then for some people, they choose to have more of a personal astrological forecast as well, so that they can understand timing and be prepared for those opportune moments to serve others. Because we all have our own personal cycles that are operating within more global cycles. And so maybe the rest of the world is going, stop, 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 stop. But this is your go cycle. And so if you listen to what's happening with the rest of the world, you might miss out on amazing opportunities for yourself as well. And so forewarned is prepared. And go
yes,
ahead.
I was going to say, yes, it is. And I was going to say, when is it happening, and how can people join? Can anybody join, or is it just for initiates?
So this is completely open to anybody. And so I welcome anybody who wants to learn more about astrology, who wants to understand how astrology affects you on a personal level as well as the planet, because I do include those pieces as well. And so it is going to be on Friday, January 2nd at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And so that's going to translate to different parts of the world. And I will provide the link afterwards so that you can register online. And if you register before December 21st, or by December 21st, there is actually a discount code that I will include in there as well.
Put myself on. Amazing. I am so excited for this. I love this every year, and I share it with all of my clients and everyone. So please do not miss out, everyone. This is just such a great resource, and it's just a really lovely thing to be part of. And make sure you set aside a good amount of time, because Aleks always overgives. She's very generous. And so please, it is, it's not a quick half an hour thing here. We're talking, very in depth. So set aside, time, get really nice and comfortable, get settled in, and get your snacks ready and all the rest of it that you need in your notebooks, and away you go, because it's just such a fantastic, I want to say 2 hours, but it's often more. So
yeah,
it's often a lot more. So it's just such great value for money. It's such a great resource. So please, please, please tune in. Is there anything else you want to add that we haven't covered?
Oh my gosh, maybe just a blessing for 2026.
Yeah.
That you are this warm, pure, clean fire that cooks everything you want in your life in the way you want it to manifest, and that you illuminate and provide warmth to others, that you rise like the phoenix, strong and bold, and embrace the light of the spiritual sun so that you can be a source of inspiration for others.
So be it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you again soon.
Absolutely. Happy 2026. Merry Christmas. Merry Yuletide. Happy holidays. All of it.